What is Gucci Can Eaters? My name is Push, aka the creative queer, the masculine, cotton eating queen, kumganikazi, drip magazi with fit, a captain of cool, a grill guide, and welcome back to yet another video. Thank you so much for joining me this week. If you're a new subscriber, I'm just a gay girl talking about my experiences in the world, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you. You know what we do up in the family. It's been a long time since I've done a story time. In fact, I've chosen to be a bit more demure about my life and keep some things to myself. I think cooler as well. But I think this has been a journey that I've been sharing on this channel, and it's worth telling. And as you can see by the title, today I'm going to be talking about coming out to my dad, or the concept of coming out. It's something that happened over this last December holiday. In fact, it was not planned. It just happened, I guess, and this is how the conversation went. In fact, I'm not even going to call it coming out. It's more like having a difficult conversation with my dad about my sexuality. For the very, very first time. So if you want to listen to how that unfolded, you know what we do up at Kaya. Let's roll the bumper. As I mean. So, perhaps I think before I even get into the story, perhaps let me contextualize my relationship with my dad, perhaps for the new subscribers who may not know me that much and are tuning into this video. Perhaps this is something that you are going through in your own personal life. You are trying to, or you're at the stage in your life where you really want to let your parents in on the real you, and you don't want to hide. This video is for you, and I hope you can relate. Anyway, so in 2019, when I recently had moved to Johannesburg, it was sort of the first coming out of myself to my parents. If you have not watched that video of how I came out to my mom, please, I'm going to put an iCard somewhere here. But I had the conversation with my mom, and I let her know that, this is who I am. And me, I like girls, I don't like them boys. The first time, she didn't take it that well. She let me know that, she raised me as a Christian, and she just doesn't understand, like, by 18 I think over the years, as I've shared on this channel, she's sort of coming to terms with it, because I bring it up every now and again, and I'm like, remember that conversation? Like, this is where I am. Remember that conversation? Like, this is where I am. And I do think there is an onus on us as queer people to teach our parents about this, because who else is going to teach them? Because the streets are teaching them this misinformation, and usually people just fear what they don't know. So anyway, over the years, I've been having a conversation with my mom every now and again, and she's, I would say, in a way, kind of warming up to the idea, or sort of accepting me for who I am. And this past funny enough, this past holiday, so I'm like to my mom, because I was linganisa so and obviously my outfit was not being so scared. I was not dressed very femininely. Mpaqo is very masculine, and you can see, but this is a masculine presenting person. So I'm like, so yeah, mama, what do you think? Do you think so I share jokes with her like that, and she laughs it off a bit. And I can see, man, she's trying to like get into the flow of things and trying to like see by 18, what does this mean? What does this look like? So it's a journey of discovery that I guess we are both going through, because I've never had to come out to my parents. Like, this is, I guess it's a new for us all, and siyafunda wethu about each other. So it's really nice, it has been really nice for me to feel comfortable enough to project a wife into the future and stop hiding behind the fact that one day I'm going to marry a man. Yeah, so that has been a nice sort of journey with my mom. And at the back of my mind, guys, I promise you, I have always been like, Surely my mom talks to my dad. Surely by a pillow talker. These people are still together. They're married. They live together. Surely they gossip about their children, and yeah, but let's buy hey Pumenela what. And that has kind of always been my assumption. But obviously it was just an assumption. It wasn't based on anything that my dad perhaps might have said or my mom has hinted in a certain direction. I've just assumed that by pillow talk. And in fact, I wanted them to pillow talk because I've been very scared to come out to my dad or have that difficult conversation about my sexuality with my dad. I've been very scared because dads are dads, guys. Like, you are Anna, dads are stubborn, dads are hard-headed, dads are just like more difficult than moms. Like, moms are more emotional, like moms are more understanding. I guess because I'm also a girl child, I'm more relatable with my mom. Like, I know my mom say Havana, we are the same person. So it's always been a more comfortable conversation to have with my mom than it is with my dad. Although, okay, my dad and I, in a way, I always joke around and say with my dad, they go 2 in 1. It's almost like he has a son in me, but also like a daughter at the same time, in the sense that we also have our own bond and things that we bond over. So, yeah, man, I've just been scared for the most part. And it also has been something that has come up in therapy where it's like, okay, so you're going to be your true self, but why is it that you don't want to be your true self with your dad? Like, you just skip low part. So it's been something that has been at the back of my mind, I guess, to have this conversation with my dad. I won't lie. I'm not going to lie and say that, even though the way the conversation happened, it happened very unexpectedly. I'm not going to say it be a mistake. It was definitely not a mistake. It was something that, like I'm saying, was at the back of my mind because I guess I'm going through this journey where I'm showing up as myself everywhere that I am, and I'm going to feel like my parents need to know me for who I am. So with that said, it was a bit of a touchy subject, I guess, with my dad, because we do have our own relationship and our own bond, and I felt like, you know what, if I open up to him about this, I might be rejected and go ready for a type of rejection. But we live and we learn, and we just have to like not nip it in the bud, but we have to like rip the band-aid off. So anyway, that's the background of the story. So this is how it went down. So in December I was home. Obviously, please go watch the vlogs of me at home. I had a good time. My nieces and nephew were home. My sister has children, so yeah, my niece and nephew were home, and I was just playing gay aunt duties. Like me, I'm very good with kids. Like, kids love Auntie Push, okay? And that's why Ndingo Magas were fit. This is why Ndingo Magas were fit. And so I really have, I guess, this great bond with my nephew, and him and I were just playing, and I'm a very playful aunt, like playful aunt to the T, darling. I'm very playful. So we were on our way now to the airport. I was coming back to Johannesburg. So there I am, helping everyone pack their bags into the car, packing bags. That take it, my nephew, what, sharp. Right. Then, my dad is like, hey, when that's my nephew's name. His name is Oi. So don't you want like your mini Oi, like Tindo yako? So I'm like to my dad, no, definitely would like a child. I think children are beautiful, and perhaps one day I would have one of my own. It's just that my sexuality is the issue. And then he's like, sexuality, sasithethile nje into sexuality yakho, sasikunikile elinye iyeza mos lokunceda. So just to translate again, he's basically like, no, we've spoken about your sexuality, we gave you these other herbs for you to take, but you never took them. And I'm like, So just for context, I have really bad period pains. So, and my dad is like a traditional guy, like he's about African spirituality and like natural herbs and medicines and all that stuff. So, a couple of years back, I was struggling with period pains, and then he gave me this other concoction from, I guess, what do you call them? Not Iqeha, the person who does medicine, a traditional person. So he had given me this, and then he said, okay, I must take it, I must mix it, boil it in water, whatever, and then just drink the juice of it. Ayimbi lando, ayimbi. Did not. I only probably took it once, and I was like, nah, imbi lando, I'm not gonna eat it. I tried to like drink, because you have to like drink a whole cup, and it's like, it's so bitter. I was like, ain't no way, bro. I'd rather just like go the Western way and just take painkillers to deal with my period pains. Then I just left it at that, and I never took the herb. So he was referring now to that. So now I'm like, sexuality. I'm just like, maybe he's confusing sexuality with fertility. So I'm like, what do you mean? My sexuality, like I'm confused, but what do you mean? And I'm like, I said to him, do you know what sexuality is? Are we having the same conversation? And then he's like, I know what sexuality is, and yeah, man, and then I'm like, Dada, I don't think we're having the same conversation, because sexuality means I don't date boys, I date girls. That's what I said. I was like, I cannot believe the words that are coming out of my mouth right now. I was like, Tata, sexuality means I date girls, I don't date boys, I don't like boys. And then he's like, his face changed. He's like, what the heck? But it changed, but he was like still engaged in the conversation, like, oh, okay. And my dad is a traditional guy. He's like, no, but the research that I've read, we can change these things. We can help you. And then I was just like, that, no. I just started to roll my eyes. I could feel my heart beat like very fast. In that moment, I kind of felt rejected, and like the world was just like spinning. Benungu Mr. Krebs. And then he basically was telling me that, we can help you. Like, Hashem, now that I really think about it, I think he I don't know, he didn't take it as a bad thing. He was like, this is I guess it's an illness and we can help you, kind of a thing. And then I'd start to like roll my eyes, kind of a thing, and I'm like, oh, I Tata, please, like, let's stop it, Lori, like, I already know what you're gonna say, and they look bamba up. And then it's like, and I'm like, yeah, I know you're gonna tell me, but you can change it, and research why fundayo, blah 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 blah. And I've known myself for 31 years. Like, I know I've tried to date boys, but aglungi, I like girls. And then it's like, oh, okay, so ke ngokuzawuthini xa ufuna umntana ke ngokuzawuthini, so adopt. And then I'm like, yeah, there's adoption, and then there's also like a sperm donor. I could get a sperm donor. There's like facilities like, the sperm bank, and then it's either I carry the child or my wife would carry the child. And then he's like, oh, okay. Then I just wanted to be like, okay then, bye. That's how I felt. Like, I guess I'm projecting my feelings into the situation. Like, maybe that's like it's not as bad as it sounds, but in the moment I just felt like, okay, bye, kind of a thing. And then it's like, oh, okay, no man, it's just that you are hamba ngoku, asizokwazi uthetha kakuhle lento sincokole kakuhle nawe, but no, African religion, and then it goes on. I'm just like, Dad. And then I resist. I'm like, no, Dad, I know what you're gonna say. Like, I know myself. I've known myself for 30 years, and then I also mentioned that I've also had this conversation with Mama, and she's also kind of come at me with the angle, yeah, your research, and the social worker thing, and the psychology thing. And she said it was a phase, and I'm still here, and I like women. Like that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And then he was like, oh, okay, no, man, it's just that uyahamba ngoku, we can't really have this conversation. Xa ubuyile apha phakathi enyakeni, siphinde sincokole. And then I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, ran into the house. I was so uncomfortable. Not gonna lie. And then that was the end of the conversation. And that's how it went down, really. Kandibalis, again, it doesn't feel like it was that bad. It feels like he was like open to hearing me out. And also it does feel like, I don't know, there's some innocence to how he responded to me. Like, I didn't feel shunned, if that's the word I can use. Like, I didn't feel shunned. I felt more like, okay, maybe he needs a bit more information about this, but he was very much willing to hear me out, because I felt like the fact that he was able to say, oh, so what are you going to do? Are you going to adopt? Like, okay, so this is your reality. Like, how are you going to solve it? So for the fact that he was like, oh, okay, so are you going to adopt when you want kids? Like, it gave me dinethemba. So yeah, man, that's the big girl conversation that I had with my dad. I guess the beginning of many more conversations. I guess it's the beginning of the many more conversations that I need to have. He was open to having the conversation again. Like I said, he said, when I go back home, me and him must, talk it out. And me and him get surprised about too. We have our own conversations and talk about a lot of things. So I do think it does feel like a safe environment or safe space to have the conversation. I just am interested in how it's gonna unfold. Because I guess my fear was just to be rejected by my dad, and to be rejected by, such a key or a cornerstone part of who I am, because my dad really has taught me about my blackness and my African roots and where African people come from and all of that heritage. So if now he comes and says, hey, this thing is un-African, I'm just gonna be like, oh my God. So I need to now read up on literature, because I know my dad is just going to have this intellectual conversation with me. So I don't know, maybe in the comment section, can you help me find some literature that is that speaks about queerness and African spirituality and I guess African religion kind of thing. Because my dad is a researcher, he's writing books, he's like a very intellectual man. So I know he's gonna approach the conversation from the point of view of like, intellectual African theology, African literature. So I do think I need to equip myself for that conversation. So that maybe so it's also kind of a learning point for him as well. And then I guess the rest is history, man. I'll update you guys about how it goes. But I feel like I'm so relieved that this conversation has finally happened, and both my parents now are on the same page about it. Because like I said, I always just assumed that my mom just pillow talks with my dad and it's all good. But obviously it seems like they didn't have the conversation, and of course I can't blame my mom, like, it was a conversation that I should have had with my dad, and I actually am glad that I'm the one who shared it. And I think now the next steps are almost like to have the conversation openly with the both of them and be like, okay, Kebazalbam, y'all better buckle the fuck up, because I'm bringing home Umakot. Yeah, man, that's how the conversation went. I think in the comment section, help me find some African literature that I can like read up on, so that I can be ready for this next conversation. And yeah, man, that's my story. I don't know if you have any comforting words for me in the comment section and stuff. Please do that if you do, or if you have your own, I guess, coming out story or conversation that you've had with your parents. And I think for me also, maybe the last point before I close the video, I've always said this to my friends, or I actually recently said this to my friends, that I'm 30, right? Or I'm 31, turning 32 this year. I'm at the stage of my queerness where time to play is fucked up. Like, I see a lot of people, or maybe it's just it's the one or two that I seek. Maybe not everyone, but Abandu, after when shit is hitting the fan and it starts getting serious, people are like, actually, I'm not gonna do this queer thing. This is too difficult. I've had partners who've told me that, you know what, I loved you, Push, and I loved our relationship, but being queer is just like, nah. I don't want to be the outsider in my family. It's a difficult thing to be queer in your family. Like, it's all good and well to do it on social media and, you know, niyapostana kumnandi kiki niyahleka, but you know, especially when you're close with your family and you have that tight-knit relationship, and it's not a matter of you just don't care, you know, you care that you are accepted and loved family. So these are conversations that are so difficult for me to have at this age, but I want to have them. I want to be my full self everywhere that I go. So I don't know. It's just I guess an age thing where I'm just like, you know what? This is the shit that comes with it, you know? Can be gay on the internet all you want, but time to play is fucked up. Like, it's serious stuff. Like, this is ubombe to obu. Like, it's not content all the time, and it's not, you know, shits and giggles like kusrias. So it's been great, and I think I've been supported by, you know, my community in Joburg. Therapy has also kind of been a good foundation that helps me have these very vulnerable conversations and be able to kind of stand up for myself in those conversations and show up for really who I really am. So yeah, man, interesting journey. I will keep you guys updated as much as I can and as comfortable as I am. We'll see how things go during this year. But yeah, man, that was my short story time. I do hope you enjoyed it or you learned something from the video. Until the next time, I'm going to see you in the next video. Like I said, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace in the Middle East.